Hello there and welcome to the channel. If you're new here and joining me for the first time, my name is Stephanie and I have been on a GLP-1 medication for a little over a year now, and I think I'm kind of getting the hang of things. Today I want to talk about something that honestly does not get enough attention in the GLP world, and that is hydration. So many times we are focused on nutrition, and we should be, that we forget about hydration, which we should not be doing. Because when you're on medications like Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, or Mounjaro, dehydration can sneak up on you so fast. It has happened to me, and the struggle is very real. And if you've ever suddenly gotten dizzy, exhausted, nauseous, had a pounding headache, muscle cramps, maybe constipation, or maybe you just felt absolutely terrible out of nowhere, there's a very good chance dehydration played a role in that. The tricky part is that GLP-1 medications don't just reduce hunger, they can also reduce your thirst cues too. So a lot of us simply aren't drinking enough without even realizing it. So in today's video, I want to talk about why hydration matters so much on GLP-1s, and it does. It's really important. Signs that you may already be dehydrated, which is also very important as we're moving into the warmer summer months. And of course, I'm going to share some of my own tried and true favorite hydration hacks that have genuinely helped me. I mean, they've just been amazing. So of course I want to share with you guys. So first, why is hydration such a big deal on these medications? GLP-1s slow our digestion significantly. That's part of how they help us feel full longer. But when digestion slows down and you're not drinking enough fluids, side effects can become brutal. And honestly, I think a lot of people underestimate just how much water impacts those side effects overall. And this is a lesson that I myself have learned the hard way many times over in this past year. You would think I would learn, but I'm still learning that I need to pay attention to my water intake. Dehydration can make nausea worse, it can make your headaches worse, fatigue and dizziness worse, and it even can contribute to muscle cramps and brain fog. And if you're dealing with vomiting or diarrhea from those medications, that can deplete fluids and electrolytes really quickly. Another thing that people don't think about is that when we eat less food overall, we are also getting less hydration from that food. Fruits, vegetables, soups, yogurts, those all contribute to our fluid intake. So when your portions shrink so dramatically on a GLP-1, your hydration intake often drops too. So what are the signs that you may not be getting enough fluids? A few very common ones are dark urine, dry mouth, headaches, dizziness, worsening constipation, fatigue, you're feeling shaky or weak, or even just feeling off. And that is the one I tend to notice the most with myself. There's just a certain way that I start feeling, and I know that I've done it, that I'm dehydrated and I need to start pumping fluids quickly. One of the easiest ways to monitor your hydration, if you're wondering, is actually through your urine color. Pale yellow is usually a good sign. Dark yellow means you need to drink more fluids. And listen, if you're having severe vomiting, diarrhea, confusion, or you're barely urinating at all, that is not something that you need to just toughen up and push through. Contact your healthcare provider about that right away. Okay, now let's get to the fun part, my personal hydration hacks. The very first thing on my list that has helped me tremendously is infused water. And I know infused water sounds fancy and complicated, but it's actually ridiculously easy to make. My favorite combination is a cucumber, lemon, and mint mixture. I just slice up an English cucumber, add some lemons that are sliced, toss in some mint leaves, and fill the pitcher with filtered water, and then let it sit in the fridge for a few hours. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't even let it sit in there for a few hours. Usually after an hour, it starts taking on enough of those flavors that it is ready to drink. I have an infusing pitcher that I purchased on Amazon, and it comes with an insert that you can fill with the fruit. And while I think that could be useful if you were making berry infused water, I typically just remove that part for most of my infusions. There's actually a strainer at the spout that will prevent the contents of the pitcher from falling out as you're pouring. Infusions just make water taste so much more refreshing. And honestly, I drink way more when I have this thing in the fridge. And as I drink it, what I do is I just keep refilling the pitcher for a couple of days, and then I'll discard the contents and start fresh. Next on my list are hydration packets, and these have honestly been huge for me. One thing people don't always realize is that when you're dehydrated on a GLP-1, you're usually not just low on water, you are often low on electrolytes too. And electrolytes are what help you regulate fluid balance, muscle function, nerve signaling, blood pressure, and energy levels. So if you've ever had that shaky, weak, exhausted feeling on a GLP-1, or headaches, maybe some dizziness, muscle cramps, rapid heartbeat, or that I feel terrible and I don't know why feeling, electrolytes can absolutely play a role in that, especially if you've had nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, heavy sweating, or just several days of barely eating and drinking. My go-to brands are Liquid IV and DripDrop. I like them because they're portable, they come in little packets, so you can just throw them in your purse, your pocket, whatever, and they are just so easy to throw into a bottled water. I also pay attention to what is in those packets. There are so many brands out there, and some of them are maybe not so good for you. So you really do have to take responsibility and read that information on the side of the box. Both of these contain sodium and potassium, which are two of the major electrolytes your body loses during dehydration. And some of them also contain B vitamins, which can help support energy metabolism, something a lot of us struggle with as we're adjusting to these medications. Another tip I have for you is to eat your water. One thing I think people underestimate on GLP-1s is how much hydration normally comes from your food. When we drastically reduce portions, we're not just eating less calories, we're also getting less water naturally through meals. And fruits and vegetables can actually contribute a pretty significant amount toward hydration. Foods like cucumbers, watermelons, strawberries, oranges, lettuce, celery, and tomatoes. They all contain really high water content. But what I love about this approach is that you're not only getting fluids from these, you're also getting fiber, potassium, vitamin C, antioxidants, and nutrients that support digestion and overall health. So for me, hydrating foods feel like a more efficient way to nourish my body when appetite is low. Tip number 4, I go for collagen and broth when I'm not particularly hungry. One of my favorite hydration tricks is combining collagen with my favorite broth. The broth that I personally love is Millie's sipping broth. It comes in these little tea bag-like things that you throw in your mug and just let them steep. And then the collagen that I used most often is either Vital Proteins, or I like the Nature's Truth brand as well. So I'll steep that broth bag first, and then I add the collagen peptides, because getting enough protein can become really difficult on these medications, as you guys know. This is just an easy way for me to sneak in extra protein when I don't feel like eating much. Now, I am not saying collagen itself hydrates you, but the combination helps me tackle multiple goals at once. And bone broth is absolutely fantastic if you prefer that. It naturally contains sodium and minerals that can help support hydration and electrolyte balance, especially if you've been nauseous or struggling to eat enough. And then honestly, warm liquids, they just sometimes feel so much easier to tolerate on a GLP-1. Cold drinks or heavy meals can sometimes be, well, they just seem terrible. I know. If you've been there, you know. Then the collagen itself, of course, adds a little bit of protein and amino acids without needing to eat another full meal. So any way you can sneak your protein in, grab it. Tea has also become a really helpful hydration tool for me, especially herbal teas. I do try to avoid caffeinated teas. For example, ginger tea is commonly used to help calm nausea and digestive discomfort. I love that. I will drink the Bigelow ginger honey herbal tea quite often for that purpose. And you know, when hydration starts feeling boring, having flavored herbal teas can genuinely help increase the fluid intake. You're far more likely to drink something with a little bit of flavor in it. And I go for those. I don't drink sugary drinks at all. I just go for these herbal teas or my infused waters. I try to avoid anything that's going to give me empty calories. But I do have one indulgence. Recently, I became obsessed with Bigelow's butterfly pea flower tea, specifically the Sapphire Bay version. I think they have two different versions, but the one I go for is Sapphire Bay. It is a beautiful tea. Not that you care what a tea looks like, but when it's in a glass, it is impressive. It is a gorgeous blue color. It is all natural. I actually will make this into an iced latte that feels like such a fun treat. And the reason it's on the indulgent side is because it does have half and half in it, and you mix the half and half with a little bit of sweetened condensed milk. So there are those calories that I was referring to. I am linking out to that recipe in the description area of this video because it is amazing, and I just want to share it with you guys. I mean, it's good. If you want something a little on the sweet side that seems like a treat, I say go for it. Just a quick reminder though, herbal teas are not a one-size-fits-all. Some herbs can interact with medications or certain health conditions, like if you're pregnant or nursing. So it is always a good idea to double check the ingredients if you're trying something new. I also really like coconut water, especially on days when I am feeling run down or depleted. Coconut water naturally contains potassium, magnesium, and small amounts of sodium, which makes it feel more replenishing than just plain water. And potassium is especially important because low intake can contribute to fatigue, muscle weakness, cramping, and of course, headaches. My favorite way to incorporate coconut water into my hydration plan is by filling a glass with ice, and then I put in equal parts of pear juice and coconut water, topping it off with a splash of fresh lime juice. This is just one of those really good and refreshing drinks you can have that make you feel so much better once you drink it. And finally, no matter what anyone tries to tell you guys, ice matters. Yes, I became one of those nugget ice people. Zero regrets. My old bullet style countertop ice maker recently died, and I decided to replace it with a nugget ice maker by Frigidaire. I love this thing. Zero regrets. I use it constantly. And if making your drinks colder and more enjoyable helps you stay hydrated more consistently, then I fully support the nugget ice lifestyle. So what about coffee? Does coffee count? Yes, coffee and soda technically do contribute to hydration. The old idea that coffee completely dehydrates you has mostly been debunked, but I personally still try to make plain water or infused water my primary hydration source because too much caffeine can sometimes make nausea, reflux, anxiety, or those GI symptoms much worse. At the end of the day, hydration on GLP-1s is not optional. It is something that you absolutely have to take ownership of. These medications change the way we eat, drink, digest, and even recognize thirst. And honestly, sometimes improving your hydration can make a bigger difference in how you feel than you actually realize. So if you've been struggling with headaches, fatigue, constipation, nausea, dizziness, or just feeling run down in general, start paying attention to your fluids. And if you have a favorite hydration hack of your own, please drop it in the comments below. I am always trying to find new ways to get fluids into my body, and this space is a place where we can all help each other out. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.